Once you've installed a lot of apps, your screens start to fill up and it gets harder to find things. In this lesson, discover how to organise your apps and keep your iPad tidy. Now, one way of keeping your apps tidy is to put the most important apps on a dock so that every time you move a home screen, and you can see here that the dock does not move. Another way to keep it tidy is to put apps into folders, usually based around a genre. So, for example, we've got all of the apps to do with coding are in a folder. When you tap that folder, you can select apps that are closely related to that genre of app, rather than have them all scattered around your screen. Now you can move them around yourself. Holding an app down until it wiggles allows you to move it. So that's sort of the first step in tidying up your iPad. You can think of other ways to organise it. I mean, you could put all the apps in alphabetical order, and that would take an awful lot of maintenance to keep that up to date. So first of all, let's look at how you move apps. So when you hold one down, you can hold any app down. And once they're wiggling, you can move them around, you can delete them, you can put them into folders, you can drag them on and off the dock. So if I wanted to take this app and move it onto another page, I just drag it, keep my finger on it, take it to the edge of the page, and just hold that down until the pages start to move. And then when I've got to the page I want to put it on, I just drop it. Now you can move within a page just by simply moving it up to the place you want to move it. They'll all move around to accommodate it, and it can take some doing to get them in the order that you want them. And you can do it the other way. So I can take this app and drag it to the left, and as I'm dragging it, you can see the pages moving. And at the bottom is the number of pages. So I'm on page 2 of 10. So I've got 10 pages, 10 screens of apps. So moving them around is simply holding your finger on it and dragging them. If you want to put something in the dock, again, whilst it's wiggling, you just drag whatever's in the dock out. So I'm going to drag mail out, and it'll just make room. It'll just drop it into wherever screen it happens to see, or the next available blank spot. And then I can take another app, so perhaps this calculator, and put that in its place and then drop it. And I can move things around within the dock as well till I get that into the best place. So moving them in and out of the dock, put that one back and put mail back, which is how I like my dock. It's the most frequent apps that I use. Now to create a folder, you locate the apps that you want to put into a folder, and they should be similar. So I've got a couple here, the Epson iPrint and iCloud Print, that I could put into a folder and have that as a folder for printing. So to make a folder, you hold one app down and you drag it over the app that you want to create the folder with and let go. Now that will create the folder. It will give you a name that it thinks is appropriate. Now it is appropriate, they are utilities. If you don't want that name, you simply tap the cross and the keyboard will merge, and then I can type in what I want that folder to be called. So I want it to be called Printing Apps, and then tap Done. To get back out of the folder, you just tap anywhere outside that folder. And to stop the wiggling, tap the home button. I've now got a folder that has a couple of apps in it for printing. To open those, I tap the folder and then I can open the app from there. I'll open up the printing app. I can move apps within the folder. There was more than one. To add a new app into that folder, I'll just select the airport utility. I'll just take that and drag it and drop it into the folder. And then home button to stop the wiggling. I can move that folder as I would any other app. So holding it down, I can move that to another place. or another page. If I want to take an app out of the folder, again, everything has to be wiggling. Tap the folder, don't want that one, drag it out, and then put it where I want it to go. And if you want to delete the folder altogether, just take all the apps out of it. And as you take the last app out, that folder will disappear. And then I can go back and rearrange all the apps into the right order. Now, another reason for using folders is to hide things. So the iPad comes with a lot of apps that I don't use. So if I go into my very last home screen, there's a folder called Preinstalled. And when I tap that, that consists of many of the apps that come pre-installed on the iPad that I don't use. So I don't use the FaceTime app. I certainly don't use Game Center. I don't need the clock because I can just scroll up to get the clock from the control center. I use a different calendar app and I use Google Maps. Now, if I wanted to delete them, if I hold that down, they're wiggling, but you notice that there is no cross on them to delete them. You cannot delete pre-installed apps. All you can do is hide them. So if I find another app that is pre-installed, so that one of the new ones here is Tips. And Tips is meant to give you tips on how to use your iPad. Well, I don't use that. If I hold it down, I can't delete it. You see there's no cross there. There's no way I can delete it. All I can do is hide it. So if I hold my finger on it, drag it to the right and just keep holding it down until I get to the last page and then drop it into that folder. And then the home button. So I've hidden it. I put it on the last page because I don't ever go to the last page. I don't want to see those apps that I don't use. Now, even within folders, you can have multiple pages. So you can see in this one, and these are pages that I've saved as icons from the Safari app, but there's multiple pages. And I can take one app and move it onto that first page. So you can have multiple pages within your folders. If you want to create an icon from a website, from Safari, if I went to a website, so this is a website that has iPad tutorials. And if I want to keep that and be able to get back to that quickly rather than adding it to the bookmarks, I can use the sharing button and add it to the home screen. I can rename it or keep it at that title, so I'm going to add it. And now we have an icon here that's an app. Now I can create a collection of those if I wanted to and put that into a folder, which is what all this is. These are just websites that I've saved as icons and put into a folder. And then the biggest sort of issue after that is how do you arrange your screens? And on the first screen, I usually have apps that I'm going to use all the time, and I have things that I use all the time sorted into folders. So all of my social networking apps are in a folder because it's a bit easier to find it, along with some website icons I've saved. And then as I go from page to page, it's sort of hit and miss. I try to put things into order, but it's a very difficult thing to do because they keep moving all the time and you'll add things and delete things. So having them in folders is a good suggestion. And after that, I don't know, maybe alphabetical order by folder, which is what I tried to do. Sort of down here, I started putting them in alphabetical order of folder because at least you can then find where they are. Put all your folders towards the last couple of screens and start putting those into some sort of order. It's a bit easier to find. So if I get another folder, I put that up here, so move it to the right place. Home button. So it's a complex question and one that's very personal about how you arrange your screens. What you do need to do, though, is to put things into folders because at least then you're combining similar apps of a genre together, and make your first screen the most important screen where you use the most apps. So in this lesson, we looked at how you organise your iPad and make it a bit tidier, a little bit more efficient and productive.